We've been learning about boundaries. We understand that maybe we need to have healthier boundaries. We try to prioritize what we do in a day. And when we are maybe caregiving or taking care of other people or working and living our lives, it can be really tough to say no or to prioritize or to have healthy boundaries. Hi, my name is Heather Quackenboss with UW-Madison Division of Extension, here today to talk a little bit about how we can create some boundaries by using our values. Now, often we think to have better boundaries, we need to start by saying no to things, which fair, right? And saying no can be really tough. Even when we add that nice, no, thank you, it can be really hard to tell people no when often we want to help others or when we need to help others or when somebody wants something from us. It's tough. Another thing we have a tendency to do is to apologize for those things that we maybe can't do, or to apologize for those things that make it hard for us to get everywhere and do everything we need to do. One of the alternatives that we can do for that, instead of apologizing, instead of saying, I'm sorry I'm late, is to say, thank you for waiting for me. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for giving me grace. Oftentimes when we say that, it can change our brains just a little bit to make things a little bit easier for us and for the folks who we are helping or serving or doing something with. Now, sometimes what we also do when we are trying to find our boundaries is we start comparing ourselves to other people. Now, social media can be such a great thing, and it's something that we tend to look at and compare our lives to everyone else's lives on whatever social media platform we're looking at. And honestly, most of us put only the good things on social media, only those positive, happy, nice looking things. And we're comparing ourselves, our lives, to somebody's edited version of their life. So when we start comparing, we're only seeing a portion of the picture and we're not seeing everything that's going on. So when we compare, we forget about who we necessarily are. So let's look at our values, our own values. Now on the screen, you see just a smattering of different core values that we might have. And I'm going to ask you, if you were to pick one core value, just one, what would that be? What could sum up most of who you are in that one value? I know this is hard. I know we want to pick all of the values. And if we do that, it gets harder to look at how to create boundaries through values. So if you were to pick one, what would that be for you? For me, most of the time, my core value is connection. I want to connect with my family. I want to authentically connect with my friends. I want to connect with the people that I work with. Some people might say, no, I want to have adventure. I want to do fun things. I want to have fun. I want to have great experiences. Others say, you know what, my core value is forgiveness, to give grace to people, to have compassion for everyone. Some folks say it might be humility or tradition or grace or competence or recognition. Whatever your value is yours. Now, once you figure out that value, that next question is, what does it look like in everyday life to live your value? So if my value is connection, how do I make sure that I'm taking that time to connect? Do I need to shut down my computer at the end of the day so I make sure that I give my full attention to the connections of my family and friends that I want to do? Does that mean scheduling family meals so we can all be together to have that connection? Does that mean carving out some time on the weekends or in the afternoons for family or friends so we can have those activities together? If my value is tradition, and I know that things are just maybe a little bit different with how life is going for me, how can I keep some of those traditions that I do really love and cherish? Do I have Thanksgiving on a different day? Do I have Thanksgiving a number of times with some different folks? Do I, have a family meal and it's breakfast instead of dinner? How do we modify those for how life goes right now? If my tradition is health or my value is health, how do I make sure that I'm choosing those healthy choices? How do I make sure that I get out and move every day? How do I choose that healthy food? What does it look like for you to do what you value? That next question then is, with your value, what do you say yes to? What are those activities? What are those things? What are the people that you say yes to? What do you need to say yes to keep that value? What do you want to say yes to make sure you're maintaining that value? And then what we can do is, now what's easier to say no to? Maybe not a lot easier, but maybe just a little bit. If it's a twitch easier to say no to, then hey, we have gotten this to work for us. So for instance, if I have a meeting over dinner time and my values connection, say, oh, you know what? I really value connecting with my family. I can't make that meeting over dinner time. It's a little easier to say no to because I have something else that I really want to say yes to that matches my value. If my value is being reliable, knowing, okay, I promised this person that I'd help with this, and my value is reliability. If something else comes up, you know what, I would love to, and I'm helping this person. It's easier to say yes to this rather than saying no to that sometimes. And it gives us that reason to help us be able to say no. So when we have something that could infringe on a boundary that we have, particularly when it goes with our core value, we can then look at, all right, does this activity, does this thing match my core value? Does this activity fit what my core value looks like in my life? And honestly, does this make my heart sing? When we look at our value, it can be a little bit easier to create those boundaries that will help us in doing all of the things that we do. Thank you so much for listening.